welcome. All right, I'm glad you could join us today. Let's jump in and have a quick adventure here with risk management. I know many of you are ramping up for the test and got to kick the tires. That's all it is. It's kicking the tires. Now, I have to be really honest, risk is a big area. So if you haven't read the risk section, you might find some of these questions to be far out. If you have read the risk section, I would expect you to be able to at least get an 80%. So we're going to take a look at 10 questions thereabout really quick. As usual, if you need more time, you know what to do. Hit that pause button and think about it. Okay, so let's jump into the very first question. Question 1. Your company is going through an Agile transformation. The Agile PMO has decided to carry out research to deduce if your firm is well suited for Agile. Which of the following resources would you use to do this? I'll give you some time to think about it. All right. So, my friends, the answer to this question has to do with Agile. So in addition to reading the risk section in your 6th edition, if you did, you should also read the Agile Practice Guide. So the correct answer to this is as follows. Because it says, your company is going through an Agile transformation. The Agile PMO has decided to carry out research to deduce if your firm is well suited for Agile. The best answer to this can be found on page 126 of the Agile Practice Guide, and it has to do with this. This is a suitability assessment radar chart. If you haven't read page 126 in your Agile Practice Guide, I would advise you to do that. Okay, take a look at the suitability assessment radar chart. That's what the answer to this one is. All right, let's go to our next question. All right, next question, very quick. It's a true or false question. Kanban relies on a pull system for work to be done. True or false? 3, 2, 1. If you need more time, hit the pause button. The answer to this is true. Indeed, Kanban does rely on a pull system for work to be done. That is absolutely true. Take note of Kanban as well in your Agile Practice Guide. Let's go on to our next one. This reads, teams use stand-ups to micro-commit to each other, uncover problems, and ensure the work flows smoothly through the team. What is a question that you could ask at the daily scrum? If you need more time, hit the pause button. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Read it carefully. If you need more time, hit that pause button. The answer to this is C. What are my risks or problems? You can find this in the Agile Practice Guide on page 53. The answer is not D, because D says, what am I planning to complete before the next sprint? That's different from saying, what do you intend completing before the next meeting? B says next release, so it's obviously wrong too. What did I complete since the last release? A is wrong as well. Next question. Every user story must first be approved by the product owner before being added to the backlog. True or false? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. All right, 3, 2, and 1. This is false. User stories can be added to the backlog without the product owner being involved. The question is, will that story be approved to be done? But it can be added to the backlog by anyone at any time. So this is false. It does not have to be approved. Next question. Kanban works to reduce waste and defects by increasing WIP limits. True or false? For those of you who are just coming, we're having a risk management quiz. That's right, it's risk management. Has a little bit of an agile bend to it. So you must have studied both risk and some good agile to be able to tackle the questions. All right. And if you have any questions that you would like me to answer for you, make sure you put them in the chat so that I can get to them for you. All right, let's round up. 3, 2, and 1. The answer to this one is false. Kanban works to reduce waste and defects by reducing WIP limits. We always talk about limiting our WIP. So it's all about limiting your WIP, your work in progress. Okay, let's go to our next one. You are PMO manager in your firm. You're working with one of your project managers on a process to ensure that the degree, type, and visibility of risk management are proportionate to both risks and the importance of her project to the organization and other stakeholders. How can you best explain this? I'll give it a little bit of time for you to think about the answer. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Again, always hit that pause button. I will show you the answer in a few seconds. All right, so using the process of elimination, this is at the beginning of the project. This is not in the middle when you're implementing. You haven't started identifying risks yet. You are looking to see if your efforts are on par with the type of project. See? This is risk planning. Let's go to the PMBOK guide, page 401. It reads, plan risk management is a process of defining how to conduct risk management activities for a project. The key benefit of this process is that it ensures that the degree, type, and visibility of risk management are proportionate to both risks and the importance of the project to the organization and other stakeholders. All right, let's go to another one. Real quick one here. T-shaped people supplement their expertise in one area with non-supporting but more developed skills in unassociated areas. True or false? All right. 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's go ahead and reveal the answer. The answer to this, my friends, is false. It should read associated areas. T-shaped skills are broad and deep. When we talk about the broad skills, we're talking about skills that can support people working with you. When we talk about the deep skills, those deep areas of specialisms might be peculiar to you, but others have those skills not in such depth, but to some degree. So the idea is to support each other. Right? So you should have read T-shaped people supplement the expertise in one or more areas with supporting, and could be not as developed skills, but they are supporting skills in associated areas. So there's a way that's worded in the Agile Practice Guide. Definitely check it out and understand the concept, because what good is it if my skills don't support yours? That's the idea of a cross-functional team and with generalizing specialists. Okay. All right. The next one. 3 categories of questions on an Agile radar chart as described by PMI are governance, revenues, and project. So again, it's taking you back to page 123, 456 in the Agile Practice Guide. Is this correct? True or false? What are the 3 questions, the 3 categories of questions? All right, 3, 2, and 1. So I expected you to be able to sniff out that governance and revenues were definitely not, all right? But you have culture, project, and team. So this statement is false. All right, another question here. This is almost our final one. You work for a research company that has just gone through an agile transformation. You're now working on a project with a high degree of change and a lot of uncertainty. What is the best way of managing the associated risks? I'll give you a few seconds to think about this one. All right, let's round this up. Thank you very much for your participation. So you work for a research company that has just gone through an agile transformation. You are now working on this project with a high degree of change, a lot of uncertainty. What is the best way of managing the associated risks? So taking a look at these, it says execute the work using an agile approach. It says use an iterative approach, use a purely predictive approach, and carry out the work using a plan-driven approach. Well, there's a trick here. If you look at the options, a couple of those options are the same. So using a purely predictive approach and a plan-driven approach, same thing. You gotta read between the lines. So right off the bat, that would have told me those two are likely wrong since they're the same thing. Predictive is plan-driven. Plan-driven is predictive. People talk about traditional project management, all the same stuff. You might even hear people incorrectly call it waterfall. Waterfall is specific to software development. Just because you're doing a predictive project doesn't equate it to waterfall anyway, but that's a different day. Let's take a look at B. B says use an iterative approach to execute the work. So how do we know which one is which? It's hidden between the lines. If you have read pages 18 and 19 in the Agile Practice Guide, then this will make absolute sense to you. Because it says high degree of change. So with a high degree of change, you know that the 2 options are either iterative or agile, right? And then it says, and a lot of uncertainty. So a lot of uncertainty, high degree of change. What is the best way of managing a project with a lot of uncertainty? Right? Think about it. A lot of uncertainty, a lot of change. That definitely sounds like a recipe for agile, doesn't it? High degree of change, a lot of uncertainty. That would be your best bet. Take a look at page 14, page 18, page 19. All right. If you take a look at page 14, you're faced with a Stacy model. And in the Stacy model, we have projects with a high degree of predictability, and then we have projects with a high degree of uncertainty going towards the Agile zone, right? In the Stacy model. If you haven't read the Stacy complexity model, also just called the Stacy model, Ralph Stacy, rest his soul, created this. Great mind. Very cool way of understanding when to be agile, when to be more in the simple zone. So if you take a look at page 14, you'll see the Stacy model, and then 18 and 19, take a look at the PMI table. I think it's 3-1. And also take a look at the continuum of life cycles. Take a look at that. And then it says, plan risk management is the process of defining how to conduct risk management activities, so on and so on. The bottom line is that a risk coping mechanism for dealing with uncertainty is actually doing things in increments, in iterations, being agile. All right, so the best option is A, agile. All right, that took a long time to explain. Let's go to our final question for today. Final question here. All the work necessary to achieve the product goal, including sprint planning, daily scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective, happen within sprints. Is that true or false? All right, this should be an easy one. 3, 2, and 1. The answer to this is true. The sprint is a container for all the other events. All right. I hope you enjoy those 10. I keep popping up with quizzes. I hope you're taking them. I hope you're closing the gaps. I hope it's all making sense. These are for you. So please take them and use them to assess your readiness for the exam. Okay. All the very best. Remember, right here in the live chat, I have a link to our hpmexam.com course. It is starting on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So please be aware, if you're finding the exam super difficult, you're finding it hard to progress, and you need help, you need to go on down to the website. It's www.hpmexam.com. You can sign up for our next immersion course. And the next immersion course is actually on Sunday. All right, so I'll show you that right now, right over here. Right over here. See if I can get that on the screen for you. All right, so that's it. hpmexam.com. Go on down there and sign up. Like I said, it's a 4-hour boot camp. We'll get you in ship shape for the test. There's a mock exam you take at the end. That's 180 questions. Make sure you hit that exam just like you would the real exam, and that will get you tuned up, okay? I usually recommend getting the 90s on that mock exam and then take all the other mock exams. It will really give you a good run for your time, all right? hpmexam.com. All right, my friends, thank you for joining me. I wish you all the best, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.